want me brain dead in a sleep. You want us trapped while you all laugh behind the scenes. You want us sick, you think we're dumb. You want us blind and you want us drunk. You want us poor while you get more of everything. But you don't get to tell me what to think and what to do. No, you don't get to tell me what is true. 'Cause you're just liars, cheats and crooks. Change the rules and you burn the books. And so I don't believe a single word you say. You're all liars, fakes and cons. Want you out and we want you gone. So don't believe this time you'll get away. You want us tricked, you want us numb. You want us scared and you want us stung. You want us shocked and you want us fought in every way. You want our minds, you want our time. You want us framed up in your crime. I hope you know that it's time to go and we're taking names. 'Cause you don't get to tell us what to think and what to do. No, you don't get to tell us what is true. 'Cause you're just liars, cheats and crooks. Change the rules and you burn the books. And so we don't believe a single word you say. You're all liars, fakes and cons. Want you out and we want you gone. So don't believe this time you'll get away. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. You don't get to tell us what to think and what to do. You don't get to tell us what to think and what to do. You don't get to tell us what to think and what to do. You're just liars, cheats and crooks. Change the rules and you burn the books. And so we don't believe a single word you say. You're all liars, fakes and cons. Want you out and we want you gone. So don't believe this time you'll get away. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. 'Cause we're just liars, cheats and crooks. Change the rules and you burn the books. So we don't believe a single word you say. Want you out and want you gone. So don't believe this time you'll get away. La 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies.
People are rightfully alarmed. They have a reason to be alarmed. And if you would vote for that, people may not feel so confident that they're safe with you. This is not crazy. This is legitimate feelings of fear of you and a feeling that you might not be someone they could trust. If this thing goes way south, autocracies go south real fast and things get ugly and people get asked to do things and turn people in and point people out and turn on them. And if you're voting affirmatively, gleefully for this, people might, may not feel so confident in you anymore. That's real, and you kind of have to live with it. So if you think that you can vote for what people see as their destruction and then demand that they still are cool with you and kiki with you and have Thanksgiving with you, like, I think you're kind of missing the point of what people are upset about. They're afraid. And autocracy and fascism are things that are legitimate to be afraid of. So you may want to step back.
What the hell is on her ears? I don't want to say like maybe those are like meaningful earrings. Are they? Is there Satan? So I want to say there's something satanic going on with that. May I ask Joy Reid a very simple question? Why the hell are you whispering with the Joe Biden creepy perv whisper? You're in your house, I presume. Are you not confident enough to actually speak with your inside voice?
Crazy. This is legitimate feelings of fear of you.
There's a number of things going on here. The one thing might be confession through projection. They're scared of Trump supporters. They're scared that Trump supporters are going to phone them in. It might also be a little bit of Oni soit qui mal y pense. Shame on he who would think ill of something so innocent. Oh, maybe you think that they're going to call in authorities because that's literally exactly not what you may have done, but what you said you were going to do, what your dear leaders said was going to happen if they came into power. Re-education camps. But seriously, sorry, choking on my own tongue again. What the hell is wrong with these people? These people being media people. You got Joy Reid melting down. You got Fishmouth there. What's her face? Rosie O'Donnell melting down. Who was the other one that I just saw? Katie Couric. I didn't recognize her. These people are demons whose soul is being sucked out of their body from one or another orifice. And they're actually unhinged, deranged lunatics. Like, straight up. You think that Trump supporters are going to be calling the authorities because autocracies come to an end and they got to round up their neighbors? You have lost your freaking mind. And Joy Reid, the thing is this, I don't know if she's actually lost her mind or if this is just what they call a grift, what they call, pandering to your user base, audience capture. She knows what greases her wheels. She knows what her audience wants to hear. And she knows that if she comes out and says to her audience what Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough have said to their audience, yeah, we told you he was Hitler. We told you he was Hitler adjacent. He's going to kill you. He's responsible for women's deaths. He's a threat to your existential well-being. Oh, yeah, and we went and we had a nice tea and crumpets with him at Mar-a-Lago. They took flack from their audience, and rightly so. Apparently, they're losing a ton of members, a ton of supporters. Holy hell. By the way, I started doing just randomly a deep dive into Mika Brzezinski's father because someone said, Viva, Mika's not the one who's important in that family heritage. It's her father, Zagloban Bzerbich, Mika Brzezinski. I listened to a couple of podcasts. Brzezinski, Zbigniew, I'm not trying to make fun of his name. It's Zbigniew, Zbigniew Brzezinski. Is her father, Zbigniew Brzezinski, and his daughter's name is Mika Brzezinski. Zbigniew Brzezinski, I had no idea. I mean, I saw it in the chat, so I had to go do a little learning. Council of Foreign Relations, Atlantic Council, Bilderberg Group. He is the deep state. He is the shadow government that controls things that we never knew about. He's dead. I was listening to a podcast. It was 10 years old, 2013. He had some interesting predictions about what would be required in order to justify going to war with Iran. Well worth listening to. The writer of the Grand Chessboard says a special SOV. I'm gonna actually let me not flag that. I want to read that book. I think we got to know what your enemies are saying, people. Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, a little bit of a later start today. I had something with my kid this morning. He was doing parkour in a park, which I guess is a good place to do parkour. And then I was on with Eric Hunley, Nate Brody, Phil Holloway for a bit. And now we are going live ourselves. We're live across platforms. If you're new to the channel, we start on YouTube, Rumble, and Twitter, and vivabarneslaw.locals.com. We then vote with our feet and vote with our eyeballs and our dollar and leave CommieTube, as I like to call it, and then head over to Rumble, and then we go over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com for the after party. And that is all. I just saw someone said, I wish Trump would send in the troops and free us, but I can't see who said it now because it scrolled all the way up. Hey, here's a good one. Coop W. Hey, Viva, how come you chickened out in all caps of the debate with Max Blumenthal? I actually didn't. I don't even know what you're talking about or where you would have heard that from. The debate was called off because it didn't look like Max and I were going to have very much to disagree with, and the decision was to wait until Trump had formalized all of his picks. So not sure where you heard that I chickened out of it, because I wouldn't, and was actually eager to, and I started doing the homework for it over the weekend before I was told it was put on hold until Trump formalizes his picks. So hope that answers your question. Viva, didn't some of your ancestors flee Poland before World War II? Zbigniew is a Polish name. He's Polish Midlander. Yeah, my granddad left he left for good in 36. And our original trajectory, my granddad's last name was Freiheiter, E-R. He originally fled, went to Argentina, then went back to Poland in the let's say May of 36 to try to get remaining family out. Couldn't. Ended up in Canada in Winnipeg or Calgary, one of the flat, cold, windy cities. Didn't like it. Ended up in Montreal, met my grandmother, and the rest was history. But I don't think Zbigniew is. I don't think Brzezinski is Jewish. Let me see here. Brzezinski, but it's so impossible to spell them. Zinsky. I don't think he's Jewish. There's the Polish last names, and then there's the Polish-American diplomat and political scientist, served as counselor to LBJ. So yeah, there's that. That's it. We're all good. So what are we going to talk about today, people? Because there's a lot. The grand chessboard lays out the NATO plans we are seeing today, says a special SOV in our locals chat, and Zigbee is Polish, says a special SOV. And let's say he is so. No, nothing. No, well, nothing. It would be more curious in terms of the foreign policy, Svihansis. He's one of the ones where it's neither here nor there. Except I did wonder whether or not Brzezinski was one of the paperclip potential people who made it out of Poland / Eastern Europe. That was my main. Okay, we're going to talk about this as well. So Pat King has been found guilty on some counts of mischief. Yep, that's what I heard. 5 of 9, and we're waiting sentences. Okay, so by the way, we won't get into. We're going to do this properly. We're going to talk about how Canada has become a commie hellhole, politically speaking. No shade on Canadian citizens, and there's only a little bit of dismay and pity of those who actually think the trucker protest was bad and that truckers are their enemies, and who still vote NDP and Liberal Party. But Canada has been turned into a commie hellhole, cesspool. We have a government that operates no differently than a Stalin government. We have police force that operates no differently than the secret police, Gestapo. No different. And we're going to talk about the other stuff there. Laken Riley, the DA, MSNBC's thorough inhumanity. It's quite astonishing. We're going to get into a lot of stuff. And I think we're actually going to start with the Daily Mail. So Laken Riley, killer, sentenced to multiple sentences of life in prison because the DA did not seek the death penalty despite the heinousness of the crime. And some of you might be asking, how on earth would they not seek the death penalty in a state where they have the death penalty? Georgia, death penalty. Let me just make sure about that. I know they do have the death penalty in Georgia. And then the question was, why did they not pursue the death penalty against Laken Riley's killer? And did anybody want to take any guesses? I mean, you might have known, you might have seen already. Wokeism turns everything to shit. And I say this as I can no longer unequivocally, as I once did in my youth, support the death penalty, because I've seen how the government can abuse of its powers to go after the people it doesn't like. And that is not to say there's no but or caveat that MSNBC seemed to have carved out for the killer. This would be one of those cases where, by all accounts, the evidence is so damning. Why the hell didn't they go with the death penalty when they have that option in Georgia? Guesses? DA is a far left progressive. Yes, indeed, you are right. This is the woke. This is the DA. I'll pull up the article in a second, but it's just amazing when you understand this. What does that sign say? We are not going back. Harris Walls, Deborah Gonzalez for DA. They look so happy. They always look so happy as they usher in the destruction of the society that has procured them the benefits to get to where they are. So that is the DA. Now let's just see what the The woke DA's outrageous 5-word reason for not seeking the death penalty under Laken. I'm trying to think of what it is. I actually don't know the answer to this. The 5-word reason. I don't believe in it. Let's see if that's it. The progressive district attorney who prosecuted the case for the migrant. How about the illegal alien? Can we call them that? Illegal alien? Migrant? Just involved in migration, like Canada geese, just going through and like murdering people as they migrate? Brutally murdered nursing student Laken Riley said she wouldn't seek the death penalty, partly because it would cause, quote, collateral consequences to undocumented defendants. That is actually so much worse than just not believing in the death penalty. Do you know what that means, by the way? When you just actually piece together the wordsmithing of the devil here, it would cause collateral consequences to undocumented defendants, which means that she would seek the death penalty for an American citizen who committed an equally brutal murder. I don't even need to read this. It's just beyond the pale. Convicted, 10 counts, brutal slaying. Deborah Gonzalez, a liberal prosecutor funded by George Soros. It's amazing how that happens. Said in February that her office would no longer seek the death penalty because life without parole already constitutes very substantial punishment. Yeah, it's not supposed to be very substantial punishment. It's supposed to be the ultimate punishment. And if the state allows for it, she made several other soft on-crime policy decisions out of a desire to impact the community's fundamental faith in the system. That included not charging simple marijuana. Who cares about this crap? She was forced to step down from the case. Let me read that, actually. Not using mandatory minimum sentencing and taking into account collateral consequences to undocumented defendants. She was forced to step down from the case and appoint a special prosecutor after being unable to get convictions. She's also previously been slammed for dismissing charges against a child rapist who was later convicted of the attack, and even her own former supporters believe her to be incompetent. She lost her re-election campaign to an independent by 20 points in November. It's an amazing thing. It would create disparate effects on illegal aliens, which would seem to suggest that if it were a good old American citizen, well then, hey, he gets the full brunt of the law, but these poor migrants, these poor illegal aliens who don't know any better, can't punish them. And we don't want to deter other criminal illegal aliens from entering the country by executing the ones that rape and murder American citizens. So that's the it gets even worse if you can imagine that. That's the progressive DA, whatever the title was, if you didn't understand why that they didn't go for the death penalty in the first place. But if you thought it stopped with them, let me just pull up the MSNBC. They got in trouble for running a headline, by the way. This is real life. I pulled this one up. I went back to the Wayback Machine to make sure, because you can never trust a screen grab unless you take it yourself. MSNBC, the outlet where Mika Brzezinski, Rachel Maddow, Joe Scarborough work, the propagandist shithole of the world. I think. Well, no, I don't think it's even worse than CNN. They actually ran this as a headline before the blowback caused them to stealth edit, memory hole their own inhumanity. I'm quoting the title, Laken Riley's killer never stood a chance. For all the political controversy surrounding Jose Ibarra, the outcome of his trial was never in doubt. My goodness, I don't want to put words into people's mouths and assume intent. It almost sounds like they're giving sympathy to Laken Riley's brutal killer. Sounds like that. They took some flack for that, and then within about a couple of hours, actually more like 6 hours from what I could tell, they stealth edited their headline. The guilt of Laken Riley's killer was never in doubt. For all and they just run with it. I mean, it's just the enemy of the people. You try to memory hole your inhumanity. I'd like to, let me go see this here. Look at this. Watch this. You go Google. Okay. MSNBC Laken Riley killer doubt. Let's go like this. The murdering, it would be, okay, well, that's the headline that they had to remove. Blasted for sympathizing. Well, where's the actual MSNBC article? I want to see if they actually indicated in the edits. However, I can't find it. Darn it. I should have had the link before. Yeah, that's it. That's all that's going on there. So, Georgia, the state where progressivism and wokeism turns everything to shit, to quote Donald Trump. And it turns the justice system to shit. Anyhow, the man has been convicted. It will do nothing to quell the misery, the sorrow of the family. There's no remedying righting this injustice, and you've still got the so-called progressives say, "Well, geez, we don't want to give a bad rap to these illegal aliens, especially when they commit these crimes. It might cause for some public backlash against the invasion of illegal aliens coming from the open border under Alejandro Mayorkas." Okay, well, anyways, that's that. I was going to start with another headline here. Let me see this here. I was going to start with this. This is just a little palate cleanser before we start making our way over to the free speech platform, Rumble. Stephanie Rule, Elon Musk bought X and turned it into the social media arm of the MAGA movement. Listen to this.
Elon Musk bought X and turned it into
I just undid it. Here we go.
During the campaign, and turned it into the social media arm of the MAGA movement. And we all sat there right in the middle of it during the campaign, possibly not realizing that we're sitting there like fat chickens, just getting attacked all day and just being part of this MAGA messaging. However, the election's over. Everybody's getting smarter and better. I'm not sure that the right idea is to leave Twitter and just go to Blue Sky, a friendlier place, because then we remain in our echo chambers. I don't think that you should necessarily stay in Twitter every day and battle it out and let yourself doom scroll of all the hate coming at you. But I want to see it. I want to read what's happening there, right? And so I think at least staying in those spaces is important because I want to hear the other things.
Eddie,
Elon Musk.
By the way, so I didn't understand what this entire phenomenon was until it's like it's history repeats and they don't seem to learn from their prior mistakes or their prior failures. Now, admittedly, if at first you don't succeed, do it the way your wife told you. For those of you who are married, you'll get that joke. How many times have they done this now? So you had, what was the one called? Metastodon? Someone will give me the name of the thing. You had where they were leaving Twitter at one point in time and they were going to, oh, geez, Louise. It started with, what was the name of the platform? Mastodon. Then you had Threads. Now you have Blue Sky. And they think it's amazing because 20 million users go over there. First of all, it's very tough to know what is true and what is not, what is like, what is trolling and what is not. But there are legit pedophile accounts that are being set up on, or minor attracted persons over on Blue Sky. So but they're doing it again, by the way. It was called Mastodon or Metastodon, whatever the hell it was called. Mastodon. Turned into, the Homeowners Association Saturday Night Outs. Not a place you want to be. Then they tried Threads. Zuckerberg tried to create that. It turns, first of all, they tricked you into getting onto that app and where you couldn't delete it, from what I understood, without also deleting your Instagram page. So they lock in people so they can never have the number go down. And that turned into a disgusting Karen-filled poo-poo soaked heck hole. And now they're trying it again with Blue Sky. And can you imagine what that place must look like? Can you imagine only being surrounded by Joy Reid and Joy Reid adjacent psychopaths? Can you imagine? You think that they're friendlier with each other just because they agree with each other. They don't agree with each other on everything. And the second they disagree with each other on anything, they're going to turn into the same foul, toxic scumbags that they are to MAGA on Twitter. But it's not just that. And again, you don't know how many of these are legit or if they are trolls being set up on that platform to sabotage or whatever. But I've seen enough now, and I have not touched that app, nor will I. I'm only relying on the screen grabs, which is risky, but I don't deny the existence of these screen grabs. The only question is it legit? Total pervs? Bona fide progressives who now finally get to live unburdened from what is not allowed on Twitter? Or is it like, saboteurs going there and saying, oh my God, look at the platform. But check this out. Communist, youth liberation now. I don't know if you know what these things mean. Oh, radical pedophile. Okay, that's good. Then we got another one here. What do we got here? As featured in U.S. national media and libs of TikToks, not a hoax, but the real life subject of a meme. Minor attract map. By the way, they've given a nice euphemism to pedophile. It's minor attracted person maps. Who do we got here? They, them, anti-contact map. Maybe this is what do they think is going to happen? I hope the FBI is looking in the right places for where they need to be looking to find the pervs and the pedophiles, the child groomers, and the people who are actually involved in what Ethical Hacker, the guy that I was on with the Unusual Suspects on Wednesday, is out there hacking and exposing. But they think they're going to be happier surrounded by people as foul and disgusting and toxic as they are. That honeymoon wears off real quick, people. When you think you're going to be happier when you're surrounded by the likes of Dan Goldman's of the world, listen to this.
I get asked all the time, oh, what are you going to do to stand up for the Constitution? What are you going to do to stand up for the rule of law?
First of all, is he in prison? Because that would be a step in the right direction if he is. Dan Gold, when did we see justice? Holy crab apples! From May this. You're not allowed doing video interviews, from what I understand, from prison. Okay, he's not in prison, but he's in a kid's bedroom for whatever the reason.
I take an oath to the Constitution, as does every single Republican congressperson and senator. And my oath is no different than theirs. And the Republican elected officials take an oath to the Constitution, not Donald Trump. And they have to uphold the Constitution. They have to uphold the rule of law. They have to uphold our system of checks and balances. And we cannot fall into a trap where everyone just looks at the Democrats to be the bulwark for the rule of law and the Constitution.
Can you imagine him thinking anyone looks to the Democrats as the bulwarks for protecting the Constitution? These are the people who want to take away your Second Amendment rights, who want to violate your First Amendment rights, who want to criminalize disinformation and misinformation, who use the weaponized arms of social media to act as the disguised propagandist apparatus of the government. I mean, it's delusional. They are like the good people who donate to women's organizations while sexually assaulting women in their spare time. Harvey Weinberg, I'm looking at you.
All of us have to hold Republicans accountable. The one silver lining in everything that has happened, in my view, is that the Republicans selected John Thune to be the Senate Majority Leader over Rick Scott, who was clearly Donald Trump's preferred candidate.
And by the way, and now you know why that Thune was a bad choice. Why Thune was the choice of the swamp and rhinos and not of the people. When the likes of Dan Goldman, like John Thune as a pick, when the likes of Jeb Bush, like the Attorney General replacement for Matt Gaetz, who was chased out of the race, you might have taken a step down in the wrong direction.
And what that indicates to me is that the Senate Republicans still take their oath, at least some of them, very seriously.
When they agree with me, they respect the Constitution. When they don't agree with me, they're extreme MAGA Republicans, because that's what respecting the Constitution means, according to Dan Goldman. This man is absolutely the scum of the earth.
Including John Thune.
I don't know about very seriously, but okay. Potentially seriously.
That's Tim Miller. That's Tim Miller ODC. I think I have some fun with him on Twitter.
I will give him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
And until proven otherwise, because we have to have some faith that we know what Donald Trump wants to do, but Donald Trump,
what is that? Tell us.
Can only execute his goals if he has accomplices in Congress.
They respect the Constitution, except they don't want to allow the elected officials to carry out the will of the people who elected them. This is how this is what you're witnessing here. This is not just Democrats. This is Uniparty. This is the swamp. Do our bidding, or you are not acting in conformity with the Constitution as per us. And you know that when they agree on a selection, it's a problem. It's not a good thing. And Thune, they got their way with Thune. And they got their way by chasing Matt Gaetz out, although there is good reason to believe that Matt Gaetz was never the original intended pick. There might have been some 4D level chess in there. We'll see, and we'll talk about it on Sunday with Barnes. I'm not sure. But you understand this.
If he has complicity from John Thune and Mike Johnson and the other leaders, and we cannot let them off the hook. They have an obligation to our country, not to Donald Trump. And just because Donald Trump just overloads the zone with so many unqualified cabinet picks does not mean that there's a negotiation where you get to say, okay, well, you have 5 completely absurd cabinet picks, so we'll let you choose 3 and we'll reject 2. No.
Completely absurd. This is coming from the Biden Democrats. And you want to know who's on Biden's administration. I don't know what role the thief was there, the trans cross-dressing luggage thief. Rachel Levine. I mean, you look at his cat, you're dealing with incompetence, corruption, liars, scoundrels of the highest order. It may not be much different because we're dealing with politicians, but it's certainly better when you're dealing with the likes of the picks of Trump. But they don't like him. And so they've got to do everything they can within their power, within the bounds of the law, and even without the bounds of the law to get these people down, even if it means smearing them, defaming them, besmirching them, and threatening all the lawfare that they waged against Trump.
Each one, they have an obligation to evaluate on their merits themselves.
It's like, it's the no true Scotsman theory, except it's the no good candidate theory that regardless of who Trump picks, if they don't like them, they will be bad. If they do like them, then they're respecting the Constitution. Pick a Matt Gaetz. Oh my, sexual misconduct allegations, incompetence allegations. Pick RFK Jr. for Health and Human Services. He's never been a doctor. He's a career lawyer. The existing Secretary for Health and Human Services, Becerra, is not a doctor, was a lawyer. Pick Tulsi Gabbard. Well, Tulsi Gabbard, Russian assets. What's that? Pete Hegseth, bring up the sexual assault allegations from 7 years ago where there was a police report filed, no charges ever filed. What's the other one there? Pam Bondi. Hold on a second. Was it Pam Bondi who actually had sexual assaults? There was another one. It was even a woman that they're going, I mean, I say even as if women can commit sexual assault as well. It's just not typically what you expect. It's wild. If they like the candidate, they're respecting the Constitution. And if they don't, Trump is an extreme MAGA Republican. So the news of yesterday, Matt Gaetz chased out Pam Bondi, now picked for the Attorney General. Pete Hegseth fighting tooth and nail, I guess we can say right now. We covered the accusations against Pete Hegseth. We don't yet have the appointment for, or the pick for head of the FBI, Kash Patel. Let me see here. See if there's been any news. McCabe, no part of FBI mission would be safe with Kash Patel in leadership spot. Says McCabe, a confirmed deep state liar. So we're witnessing this in real time now. And when the deep state uniparty swamp is fawning over a candidate or acceptable, good with a candidate, you know you've kind of made a bad choice. What else was there in there? Oh, we're 3,800 watching and only 33 thumbs up. No, 187 thumbs up. Unacceptable. There should be 3,000 thumbs up in there. Have we left CommiTube yet? No, we haven't. Let's get ready to bring this on over to Rumble. Will H says, Viva, I was so annoyed last night. I jumped on an X space that Joe was in, and they kept calling a guy Viva. So I kept thinking it was you, but alas, it was not. Well, who the hell was it? I don't know that we have any more choices, any more information for picks as of yet. But just to understand that, when Jeb Bush comes out and says Pam Bondi is good, I start getting a little suspicious. I do genuinely not understand how they didn't go with a Bailey or a Paxton, but there might be reasons for which they don't want to pull Paxton or Bailey from their positions in Missouri or Texas. It's looking like a very, very Florida-heavy set of picks from Trump. The question now is what happens to Gaetz, because he resigned from the last Congress, so I think he can go and take his seat for the next Congress. There's discussion as to whether or not DeSantis is going to pick Gaetz as the senator replacement for Marco Rubio, but I from what some people have told me, that's a very unlikely event. Oh, let me just see. I'm going to Kalshi not because I want to see what it was. Senate Rubio, what the chances were for who they're going to pick. It was the replacement for Rubio. Let me just see who they had here. Who will replace Marco Rubio? You got Lara Trump now is leading, and James Uthmeyer, who I've never heard of before, but that's only because I don't know who he is. Okay. There was one bit of news that we're going to do before we head on over to Rumble, and we're going to cover it's not much of a development, but the New York Merchant case, it looks like sentencing has been adjourned indefinitely while Trump is authorized to file a motion to dismiss. So let me give everybody the link over on CommuTube to come on over to Free Speech Rumble, and then we're going to carry on here. Hold on a second. Link. Bada bing, bada boom. There it is. Did I pin this link already? Okay, the Rumble pinned is up there. If you want to come directly to vivabarneslaw.locals.com, do it. Do it now. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. So the news of the day was breaking as we were live with Hunley et al. Look at that judge's face. Holy cow. Look at that. Just look at that. Hi. I'm going to put this guy. Why couldn't I get away with putting this guy in jail? Look at it. If you look really closely, it kind of looks like an insect has been placed on a tree stump. Okay, so let's just get up here. Okay, so here, the news, people. There we go. Here, scroll up all the way. New York judge, this is Merchant, grants Trump request to file a motion to dismiss the charges, cancels sentencing indefinitely. Some people are going to say an adjournment is not a good thing because it's going to delay this and it's going to drag on forever. My prediction is going to come true. The judge is going to vacate the verdict and say, if you want to bring these charges again, go ahead. But right now, the judge on Friday granted Trump a request to file a motion to dismiss the charges in the case. Sentencing has been postponed indefinitely. Merchant said the Trump attorneys have until December 2nd. That's the day I get my new computer. To file their motion for dismissal, Merchant said Bragg has until December 9 to respond. Bragg is going to say, I defer to the court. Trump is going to say, dismiss the case because immunity has compromised the charges against me, the evidence that was adduced, and it should all be vacated and let them go and see if they want to recharge to the extent that we're within the statute of limitations anymore. Trump's spokesman and incoming White House communications director, Stephen Chung, reacted to Merchant's filing, saying it's a decisive win. Quote, in a decisive win for President Trump, the hoax Manhattan case is now fully stayed until sentencing is adjourned. President Trump won a landslide victory, and the American people have issued a mandate to return him to office and dispose of all remnants of the witch hunt cases. Chung added, all of the sham lawfare attacks against Trump are now destroyed, and we focus on making America great again. Okay. The rest of it is not really all that relevant. The rest of it is, we knew this case was politically motivated from the beginning. I suspect had Trump lost the election, Merchant would have issued the sentence on or about the 26th, notwithstanding whatever appeal Trump would have had. But now he's going to wash his hands of this. He's going to agree. I bet you Bragg is going to just defer to the court, not fight. Trump is going to say dismiss it all, and Merchant is going to say in his ruling, I would have sentenced him to 5.5 months probation, a fine of whatever, but alas, my hands are tied because of the Supreme Court ruling on immunity. We have to parse out what charges would benefit from presidential immunity, the presumption of, and we would have to do this trial again without allowing evidence of official acts, which even if the act itself was not presidential, if the evidence is, it can't be adduced to trial, which it was, and therefore my hands are tied by the extremists on the Supreme Court. Vacate the verdict. I wouldn't have done it, but alas, nothing else to do. That's what's going to happen. That's the end of it. Come on over to Rumble and vivabarneslaw.locals.com. As soon as I finish this stream, I'm going to finish editing my Jussi Smollett update. It's just a quick one. Corn Macabre says there is only one Viva. This is true of all of us. There's only one of us. And let me, hold on. Before I go there. Okay, sorry. I almost forgot to do this. We're going to do this on both platforms. Oh my gosh, there's 666 viewers on YouTube. Get that number either up or down, but preferably down. Nobody wants to see that. We have a new member. Eric 4x4 is now Eric 4x4. Welcome to the above average Viva Barnes or Viva Frei on Rumble community. And J David at 21 says 3,000 watching and 87. Come on, peeps. Bonge needs some company here on Rumble. All right, hit the thumbs up. Let me see what we're at right now. 283. Now it's at 285. Still not enough. Doesn't matter. Okay, we're going there now. Unless in vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Tipped questions. Bill Brown. is posting something from the quartering. Hold on, let me bring this up. It's a tweet from the quartering. And it says, this must be a coincidence. Triggered leftists flock to a new platform, Blue Sky from X, and the platform is immediately inundated with more child porn than it can effectively moderate. Blue Sky Safety says, Blue Sky has grown by over 3 million people in the last week. Welcome. With every wave of growth, naturally comes an increase in moderation reports. Here's a status report on how the trust and safety team is handling it. In the past 24 hours, we have received more than 42,000 reports, an all-time high for one day. We're receiving about 3,000 reports an hour. To put that into context, in all of 2023, we received 360,000 reports. We're triaging this large queue so that the most harmful content, such as child sexual abuse material, is removed quickly. You know what the amazing thing is? May I swear? Motherfuckers. If this were Parler, they would be shut down and raided by the FBI now. If this were Rumble, shut down and raided by the FBI. But because it's an actual left-wing pedo app, they're going to get the pass. They're doing their best. Holy shit. Get the feds in, shut that app down, find all of those users, hire the ethical hacker, and go after those pedos who are quite clearly politically, ideologically aligned, or at the very least, they have an overlapping Venn diagram. Pedophiles, liberals, and they're somewhere in the middle, progressives. Any other right-wing conservative platform, Elon Musk would be arrested. Telegram, he'd be in jail. Who knows? Well, they're working with authorities. I have no doubt they're working with authorities. The Bonkel, not Bonkel, that's Moderna. The guy from, Dan Sense's dark blue sky. Holy hell. Anybody who uses that platform has to have their head examined or is down with all of that. And when it comes to Joy Reid, it's probably both. Well, thank you for ruining my day. That actually pissed me the hell off. Okay, we're going over to Rumble and Locals right now. If you're not coming, see you later. Check out the vlog. Josie Smollett coming. Some highlights are coming. Come on over to Rumble or vivabarneslaw.locals.com.